there! So today I'm doing a hair tutorial for the look that I've been wearing a lot lately. Just sort of like loose, beachy waves. The style lasts all day. It doesn't take a lot of fancy products or any complicated tools, probably things that you already have on hand. So if you're interested in seeing how I get this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so my hair is blow dried and I'm ready to start styling it, but first let me tell you a couple things that I do to get my hair to this point. So the first thing I do is I don't like to put a lot of products on my hair when it's wet. A lot of styling products, gels and mousses and things like that, I find that because my hair is very fine and thin, it just ends up weighing it down and making it more difficult to work with. So I very rarely do I use any kind of mousse or anything like that. I do have one that I really like when I do use it, but it's very few and far in between. The one product that I do really like for making my hair a little bit shinier, a little bit softer when I blow dry it is this Redken No. 2 Satin Wear Prepping Blow Dry Lotion. And it looks like this. This is really nice. I don't use a lot of it. Just one very small pump covers all my hair because I don't have a lot. It's just sort of fine and thin. So one pump is enough, and I mostly focus that at the ends and just kind of work it through. Now the next thing that I do is blow it dry with a large round brush like this. And since I know I'm going to be curling my hair with the curling iron anyway, I mostly just focus this at the roots just to try to get a little bit of lift and just help the blow dry go along a little bit faster. I just like to kind of blow dry and curl it like this. I think it just speeds up the process a little bit. So just any old round brush will do for that. Okay, so now like I mentioned, I don't like to use any styling products for my hair when it's wet, so I do like to do a little bit with it when it's dry. So the first thing that I like to do is add a little bit of texture. I find that my hair does a little bit better when it has a little bit of grip to it because it is kind of soft. So what I really like to use for that is the Tresemme Extra Firm Control Hairspray, the No. 4. This isn't like a really strong hold hairspray, so I kind of like to use it as a styling product in my hair. So before I do anything to it, so I've just sort of brushed it out here after blow drying, and then what I actually like to do is just take this and spray a little bit around my hair. I like to lift it up here and spray a little bit and do that underneath and kind of just go all the way around and do that. It makes my hair look really crazy, as you can tell. And it just gives it like a little bit of grip, a little bit of texture to it that I wouldn't normally have in my hair. It makes it at least a little bit easier to style, especially around here at the crown. So then I'm just going to go back. This is the hairbrush I typically use. Just going to go back and kind of brush through that, get the tangles back out. My hair tangles so easily. It's so frustrating. Okay. So the other thing that I like to put in my hair, now this, you can use this any way that you like, but I have the Paul Mitchell Express Style Hot Off the Press Spray, and this is a really good heat styling spray. And I think what typically people do with it is they take sections of their hair and they spray it and they curl it. I don't like to do it that way because on my hair, I find that if I spray any kind of styling product on it and it has a little bit of dampness to it, when I use my curling iron and put that in, it leaves a crimp mark where the damp styling product was, and it also has a stickiness. And then I find at the end when I go to kind of fluff it out, it also gets very staticky because it's gotten dry. So the way, I think this is a really great product and I really enjoy it, but the way that I prefer to use it is just to spray it on lightly all over my hair before I start curling it and not in the specific sections. So I just kind of lightly spray this all around like I did with the hairspray and just kind of get it all over. And really that's enough for me. I find that that's plenty. Now if you want to do it section by section and use it, that's perfectly fine too. If your hair's a little bit thicker, it probably wouldn't cause those same problems that it does with me. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the part in my hair that I want to have and then start sectioning it off for curling. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm looking in my mirror here if you're wondering what the heck I'm looking at. Okay, so that's about where I would part it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and comb this out. Now, if I'm in a big hurry, I won't do as many sections, but if I want to take a little bit more time with it, I will do more sections. So what I typically do when I have more time, so I part it down like this, and then I take the sides, I'm going to pull this back. So I'm going to take this section here, part that, and then I just kind of twist this up so I get it out of my way. And then I'm just taking the little I think these are alligator clips, or I just got these at Walmart. I think anywhere that you have like the Velcro rollers and things like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just section this up, bring it back. And I just like to twist it, kind of gets it up out of my way better. Do it like that. The side's kind of falling down already on me a little bit. Sometimes it does that. Again, because my hair is very soft, it does not like to stay without that texture in it. Okay, so that makes it a little bit easier, kind of gets everything out of my way. So now I just have this back section that I'm going to start working with, and I'm going to go ahead and divide that into two to start curling. So I have the two sections here, so brush through those. And then it doesn't really matter where you start. I usually start on this side. I'm just going to probably do one more little spray of this light spray. Brush through that. And then I'm going to do this in 3 sections. So, let's see. I like to start underneath here. I'll put that back. And then I'm taking a little teasing comb that I have, just makes it easier to make sure I get all the hair in this section. Okay. Now, also I should mention about the curling iron that I'm going to use. This is a Hot Tools, and this is the 3/4 inch. Actually, before I go any further, let me tell you actually something else about this too. When I first started styling my hair this way, I had a lot of problems where the curls would fall out, and after just an hour or so, the only curl that I had was right here at the ends of my hair, and it was like that. I couldn't get any of the big waves in my hair, and it was so frustrating. And then I remembered seeing something that a hairdresser had said on TV years ago, where she said I think she was doing Victoria's Secret model's hair or something like that. And she said everybody wants the nice big waves in their hair, but they always use a bigger curling iron than they think they need to use. She said you actually, to get those nice big voluminous waves, you really need to go a little bit smaller on the curling iron, because the waves the curls do fall out over time and create those big curls. So that really made sense to me, because I was always using the big barrel curling iron and things like that, and then I was wondering why, by the end of the day, I had nothing left except, the maybe upturned bottoms of my hair. So I had a 1 1/4 inch. That wasn't working for me, so I got this 3/4 inch, and it has made all the difference. I think if your hair is even shorter, you might want to go even smaller, because they will fall out, as you'll see over time, and as you'll see just when I do my hair. So anyway, let me go back and start this. So you're going to be curling these away from the face, so it wouldn't be the typical way where you would go in and start curling under. You're going to go backwards. So I like to put this in a little bit closer to the scalp here, clamp that down, and then I just start turning. And this kind of just makes sure it gets warm all the way through the hair. And just pull that through. And then I hold it here for about 15 seconds. This is on the highest heat setting, so I usually just sort of, ouch, actually just hit my neck. Be careful not to do that. I usually just sort of, touch it a little bit just to make sure it's not getting overly hot. Just kind of check it like that. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is, oops, okay, so that's, I don't remember what I was going to mention. I'll think of it here in a second. I think I was thrown off by that burning my neck. Okay, so now just really gently, just sort of let that go really gently, and comes through like that. And then I just let it sit there. And sometimes I go with a little bit of hairspray and just very gently kind of hit that. But I don't want to do too much, because again, when I go to shake this out and brush this out at the end, if I've got too much product on there, it will just really frizz out on me, especially as it's getting drier in the air. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Oops, I got some section from over here. So I'm going to go back with this section, and I'm going to divide this in two. And once I get this side done, I will speed through the other side so that you guys don't have to suffer through me doing this all over my head. Okay, so I'm just starting there close to the top and just spinning this through. Oh, I know, the other thing that I wanted to mention is if I put too much of the styling product, especially the wet sprays and things like that on my hair, besides creating the crimp in my hair, it also makes it harder for this to go through, and sometimes the curling iron sticks to it, or it sticks to, I can't really get that nice rotation of the curling iron, you know, when I'm trying to just spin it around. I can't get it to do that, and it ends up being a little bit messier. And then when I try to gently take it down, it also just gives me a really hard time of sticking and things like that. So I just prefer not to use a ton of the spray until the end. And I'll show you what I use for that. So that feels about right. And again, I'm just gonna gently let that down. You wanna kind of be as delicate as you can with these curls until you're ready to actually fluff them out. You want them to have the opportunity to cool before you really start trying to style them. I keep getting a little bit of hair from this side that I shouldn't be. It's always so much easier when you're not trying to do it on camera, trust me. Okay. So, and it really does get easier with practice. The first couple times I did this, it was so frustrating, especially when I had the bigger barreled curling iron. That was so frustrating. It never worked, and I thought, you know, I love how these ladies wear their hair, but this is never going to work for me. And once I got this smaller 3/4 inch curling iron barrel, it has made all the difference. So try different curling irons. If you're not happy with the one that you have, just, you know, try these techniques. You'll get the hang of it. And it kind of looks like it's taking me a while here, but normally day to day, this goes very quickly, especially once you get the hang of it and you know how your hair is and how to section it and things like that. And like I said, some days I don't do as many sections, especially if I'm in a hurry. I might just do like 1 or 2 for this whole back area and not 3. Okay, so you can see how that looks like this. And then I'm going to show you one section over here on this side, and then I'll cut to the top section so you don't have to see me do this whole thing. Okay, so I'm just going to start here in the back again. Again, curling away from the face. So I'm going to go right here, clip it close to the neckline there, and then just start twisting. And some people like to leave a little bit more sticking out the end. Sometimes I do that, but sometimes I think it finishes off the ends a little bit more nicely if you can get as close as you can to the ends. But if a little bit sticking out, that looks really nice too. So it's really just a matter of preference. And sometimes it's just a matter of how my hair is working that day and what it's willing to do and what it's not willing to do. So anyway, just another 15 seconds or so. I usually count to 20 kind of fast, not like the 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and then that's about enough time. And then sometimes I forget and I don't realize until my hair is sort of smoking before I realize that I should have taken it out a long time ago. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to go ahead and curl the rest of this section, then I'll come back when I get ready to do the top. Okay, so I have these back sections done. As you can see, this looks really glamorous. So I've got the curls done on this side. I'm just going to kind of gently throw those back, let them continue to curl, and then start with this front section. And again, it kind of depends on how much I'm willing to do that day to get ready, you know, as far as how many smaller sections I will put this into. So I usually just start over here again on the left side and take this down. And again, if you want, you can spray a little bit more of this hot off the press on it. I do that, you know, really sparingly. And then I'm probably going to do this in about 3 sections as well. And it's really important, I think, for this particular style to section your hair in vertical sections instead of going up like you normally would for a lot of volume. So in other words, you know, you want to section this way. So 1, 2, 3, instead of like going from underneath. I find that it helps the curls to lay a little bit better. And, you know, take this all with a grain of salt too, because I'm not a professional hairstylist. I have the worst time with my hair of anyone, and it took me a long time to even get up the courage to do this tutorial because I feel like I have the worst hair in the world, and I really struggle with fixing it on a day-to-day basis and getting it to look decent. So, but because it was requested, I'm doing it, but I do feel kind of silly about the whole thing, to be honest with you. Okay, so no difference in how you're doing the curls, just going in sections like this, holding it as tight as you can to the scalp, of course, without burning yourself. Keep it at a safe distance away so that doesn't happen. Another 15 or 20 seconds or so. Okay, so bring this section down again very gently. Just kind of let it fall easily. And I'm going to spray that also. Okay. And then I'm just going to do these front sections. So I'm going to divide this into two. And let's see, that should be good. I ended up getting a little bit, I'm kind of trying to grow my bangs out here, so I ended up getting a little bit of the bangs in this front section. So I'm going to show you how I do that too, because I do something a little bit different. Okay, so again, just starting toward the top and then just pulling it through. You're just kind of gently pressing on the handle here just to get that clip to lift up a little bit enough where you can pull it through. And then just holding it here. This should be like a get ready with me video because it's like I'm getting ready, except I'm not really going anywhere today, to be honest with you. I'm just doing this for the tutorial purposes. I'm literally fixing my hair like this to clean my house. So, but I guess it never hurts to have your hair done. Okay. And sometimes these smaller sections up front, I feel like my hair is a little bit thinner up front, so it doesn't take quite as long to do. And these are, of course, small sections. Okay, so that's feeling pretty good. I'll let that down. Sometimes you have to kind of work it back into place a little bit too. It can get a little wonky. Okay, so now the final section, because this does have, it's going to be around my face area and it does have some of the bangs in here. I don't want to put this as close to the scalp because then the curl's going to be really high up here. So I usually clip this in and roll it around like I would the others, but then I kind of keep it a little bit lower down here. I don't curl it all the way up so it doesn't get, I don't know, I just think it would create like too much of a strange bump up here, so I do try to hold this out a little bit more, if that makes sense, to kind of keep the curls a little bit lower away from my face. So that's probably good enough. Okay, twirl that back into place. Give that little tiny spray. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. So I will cut out here and do this section, and I'll come back for the styling at the end. Okay, so now I have all the curls done. I did about 6 sections on this side and then I think 7 on this side. My part's a little bit heavier on this side, so I do an extra one at the front. But as you can see, this is kind of what it looks like when you're done with all that. Now comes the finishing part. So the last thing that I want to do after I've gone to all this trouble to put all these curls in my hair is to brush them right out. So I don't like to use a hairbrush at all, but I found that just running my fingers through it was not enough for me on this step, but that is how I start with it. So I just take my fingers kind of and shake this out a little bit just to loosen the curls a little bit. And I do this on both sides. I just want to kind of fluff it out a little bit, and believe me, it'll get better. It won't look this horrid. Then I wanted to figure out a way that I could actually get through these curls a little bit without messing them up. So I got this idea that I was going to go to Sally Beauty Supply and pick up something I haven't had in a very long time, and that is a pick. Just a good old plastic pick. This came in a pack of 2. I think this is Conair. And actually, I can't remember if I got this one at Sally or maybe it was just Walmart or Target, something like that, but really inexpensive. So after I get done just sort of loosely shaking these curls out, and also make sure they've all had time to cool. So after you finish doing all these curls, kind of go do something else for 5 minutes and give all the curls a chance to cool. So I'm going to go back with this, and I'm just going to kind of pick up the hair and go gently through these, just kind of separating them out a little bit. And it really doesn't pull out the curl, but it does kind of keep it from being too crunchy from any of the styling products or from the curling iron heat or anything like that. So I just kind of go through and do this. And then to finish it off, to kind of put a little bit more definition back in, I've really been enjoying this Herbal Essences Tousle Me Softly Tousling Hairspray. This smells really good. It's not crunchy. It doesn't make your hair stiff. It's just a really, really nice for helping to kind of keep these curls defined for the rest of the day. So I just take a little bit of this and just shake it up. And I go back and just kind of gently spritz this on. And then I just scrunch it up a little bit. If you had a perm like me years ago when I needed one of these, you probably remember doing this to your hair. And it doesn't take a lot. But again, this is really nice stuff, kind of keeps the curls touchable, as they say, whatever that means. But it just adds, as you can see, it just kind of defines them a little bit more. So when they kind of got a little bit brushed out and fluffed out from going through them, this kind of adds that back in. And I find that at the end of the day, my hair has still got a lot of curl to it. So that is it. That is just the loose kind of curls, the way I've been wearing my hair most days lately. It's a lot easier once you get practice at it, I promise. Just get the right size curling iron. That's going to make all the difference. All the other products are kind of interchangeable. Just use whatever you like, whatever you have on hand, and whatever has always worked for you. Just if you get the right size curling iron, I think that you'll be set. And I do think a really inexpensive pick is probably a good idea too. So anyway, that's it. I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.